Yeah, we'll Welcome to Random Randomness episode something. I don't know. I have no idea what episode it is right now. Working on another project. Actually got partway through it and didn't film it, and then decided halfway through that I was going to film it. It's actually kind of a neat little project. Something my girlfriend kind of came up with. I'm sure she wasn't the one that originated the idea, but still, she said, hey, I think this would be cool. Let's do it. And I said, sure, I'll make something. Because why buy something when you can make something, right? So we just moved into a new apartment. We actually just moved upstairs in the same building, but we got a lot more space. It's a little more modern. Actually, where our landlord lived, believe it or not. They bought a house, they moved out, we moved up. So we have all this new space. We have all these, beautiful countertops and wall space that we need to decorate and everything. The apartment downstairs came with a spice rack. We just used what was there. We were not allowed to take that with us, and we didn't want to buy another one. And we kind of saw an idea, I think my girlfriend actually saw it on Etsy probably, honestly, of a magnetized spice rack. So what you end up with are a whole bunch of different random sized containers. These are really tiny, but I thought they looked cool, so I grabbed them. And you put a magnet on the bottom. So I glued a magnet onto the bottom of 12 of these. Also got some bigger containers, some bigger like metal containers. Glued magnets onto the bottom of those as well. And the idea is that you have essentially a piece of sheet metal on your wall, and you just magnet your spices onto the wall. So I went out and got all the stuff that I need. Un piece of sheet metal, actually brushed it. So I took my Dremel tool and brushed the sheet metal, and kind of gave it a little bit of a texture to it, so it isn't just a plain piece of sheet metal. Probably gonna coat it with like a gloss enamel so that it doesn't rust. This piece of steel is gonna be, in our kitchen and subjected to steam from boiling pots and all kinds of other things that could potentially corrode it. So this seemed like the best way to go about protecting it. Had to make some brackets for it, so I took some just square aluminum tube, drilled a big hole in one side, drilled a little hole on the other side, and my idea is that the little hole will sit up against the wall with a screw in it. Right, we'll sit up against the wall, and I'll have a big lag screw in there to hold it against the stud. And then the reason there's a big hole on the other side is for the head of that lag screw to be able to fit in. And then once this is on the wall, I'll put a washer and a nut behind it and kind of screw or bolt on. Cut some runners for the back as well, so that it's got some backing, something that kind of keeps it from flexing. I'm kind of worried that the metal flexing too much is not going to be a good thing. I don't think it's going to break or anything. Just worried about it flexing too much and the enamel cracking and warping and that kind of stuff. I like to keep it looking as flat as possible. So I'm going to clean the steel up a little bit more. I don't know how stainless this piece of steel is. I'm just going to enamel it just to hope that keeps it from showing any rust spots or anything. So fingers crossed on that. So, drilling holes in the corners. I was going to put one in the very middle. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to do the four corners. I doubt you'll find a piece that's perfectly exactly flat. You can see this one's got a little bit of like a pop to it. Gonna cut some runners to go on the back just to help keep it flat against the wall. There you go. This is a 22 gauge 12 by 18 sheet that I ended up going with. More holes. To drum a bit with a little steel. You can do this with a hand brush too. This is obviously faster, and it sort of helps to hide that, you know, this metal piece is not perfect. There's some scratches in it and some imperfections. Few of them. I mean, this isn't going to get deep enough to really get any, you know, major imperfections out of it. But you know, this will help with giving the piece some texture. Brushing looks good. Gonna spray it down, clean it up, hang it. Find a way to hang it. I do have some hooks I can use and some wire, and I think I'll actually use one of the holes I drilled, and we'll hang it with the thinnest wire I have so we can spray under it, under the wire, and hopefully get enamel everywhere, and yeah, we'll go from there. There you go. Gotta clean up the ends a little bit, but almost there. It's just a sander bit, and this one's quite worn out, but you know, I'm just using it for cleaning up the edges, getting rid of some of the sharp pieces. Aluminum loves to be sharp, so clean it up as best we can so I don't cut myself on it or scratch the wall or anything. Always, always with aluminum, safety glasses. This stuff, you do not want this stuff in your eyes. Sharp little shards gets in your eyes, you're gonna have a really bad day. Not perfect, but I can at least run my finger over it and I don't feel like I'm gonna cut myself, so it's good enough. Got some wire. Going to use this to string up the piece of metal, and we are going to enamel the hell out of it. So just ruined it. Nice. Try to get most of it off with this, and then spray it again. So. And take two of Randall doing a thing he's never done before, and action. So apparently a much lighter coat this time. No drips. I don't dare do any more than that at a time, so I'm gonna let that sit for a bit. We'll come back, do another coat. So, here, this is the spot where the spice magnet rack thing is going to be mounted. There's a nut and a washer back there, and I kind of need to hold them there. I probably should have, I don't know, figured a way to, I don't know, super glue them in or something when I didn't. They're just sort of there. So it's just a wad of paper towel holding them in place so that I can screw them in. Overall, I have to say I'm actually pretty happy with the way this came out. It was a decent amount of work, but nothing that was all too difficult. So really happy with the way this came out. Looks really good. There's a little bit of patina that sort of happened on its own that I didn't plan on. I think a tiny bit of moisture got trapped underneath the enamel, and spraying the enamel on allowed these little spots to show up. Really not unhappy with that at all. Kind of adds to the look, and it's a really neat conversation piece. Had a bunch of people over who've noticed it and asked about it, and just really looks good on the wall, and it's functional. We actually use it with the spices quite a bit. So really had a lot of fun making this one, both making the video and actually making the spice rack itself. So it kind of really came out cool, and it really is kind of a neat conversation piece. Really hope you enjoyed watching this one. More projects to come, more other things, adventures. Got a flight I'm doing to Burlington, Vermont with a couple of friends, hoping to film that and turn that into something. So if you like this one, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Trying to build a channel here, trying to have some fun. I'm having a blast making these videos. And hopefully they're helpful to some people. That's really the end goal that I've got with this channel is I just want to do some fun stuff and be helpful with some how-tos and show people some things, go on some adventures, that kind of thing. So like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. It's coated wire, I think. It was I'm not sure where I bought it, but got it for some reason. Oh, always the hand. Always the hand. Cool. Really, Cat? Really? You're recording here. He don't care. Ta-da. So hopefully this is in the shot. Appreciate everybody. Not even really sure where to start. I haven't had enough coffee yet.